Hello, welcome to another episode of Somewhere Between a film and TV podcast. We are your hosts. I am Daniel Parra.
And I'm Erwin Trejo.
And we recently just got a whole lot of Marvel stuff, and we were busy whenever Doctor Strange came out and Moon Knight came out, so we were not able to record at the time, but we're going to go ahead and do one huge episode covering the past four, I think, Marvel properties. We will start with Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, now available on Disney Plus.
This is not an ad.
It's not an ad.
I haven't gotten any free stuff.
Yeah, we keep on doing so many episodes on Marvel and not a single free invite to anything. So
interesting.
We now hate everything.
Please invite us so that way I can decline it.
My favorite movie of the year is. My second favorite movie of the year is The Batman. That's actually just true. But
oh yeah, I could say that.
It's funny. I have seen this movie twice now. How many times?
Yes, I've seen it twice.
Twice, right? Yeah. I did want to watch it on Disney Plus again recently, and it's sort of funny, everything with this phase going on right now and people's reception of it overall. And I guess it did kind of start with this, because you look at last year, which I thought was phenomenal. Shang-Chi, Spider-Man No Way Home. Eternals I love. I understand that that's still regarded as quote-unquote the worst, but I don't believe
not
that
at all.
I still think like the Incredible Hulk, and I like that movie. I like every single one.
Yeah, I mean, I think Incredible Hulk, Dark World are down there. I'm trying to think of what else. Iron Man 2 was alright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all the bottom ones.
Yeah, typically it's all the phase ones for sure.
Which I think phase 4 at this point, now that the sort of big payoff event No Way Home is done, people are wondering where this phase is going, which I think may be what some of the criticism is of two of the movies that we're talking about. I will get this out of the way by saying I loved Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and I can confidently say that. It's very odd. It's very Sam Raimi, which is
awesome.
Why I also call it odd. And there's a lot that I actually really do want to address with all of this. But before we move forward, I'm going to go ahead and ask you, what were your general thoughts on this?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. I had a few issues with it, but overall I really liked. I'm glad I got to see more of Doctor Strange again, because after the first one he was just in, or just cameos, or just in with other superheroes,
I agree. I saw Infinity War again pretty recently before I watched Love and Thunder, and I love Doctor Strange as a character, but in his big event movies,
yes,
it's always like, this dude is so overpowered, we cannot focus on him.
Yes.
Or else
he'll take over.
Yeah.
Or the audience itself will always think why doesn't just Doctor Strange do this?
Yeah, why doesn't this character do that? Which is why I think it was also smart that with this, the villain is Wanda. And I know how you feel about this, because we've obviously talked about this a fair amount,
yes,
but we're probably just going to restate everything that we've thought. I love Wanda. I loved WandaVision a lot. It's probably still in my top 3 favorite MCU shows.
Yes, I'd say it's up there.
And I understand that in terms of pure filmmaking itself, that if you were to have to watch a TV show in order to understand the movie, that might be a little frustrating. But since I guess I'm just a huge fan of these, it's not really for me. I mean, I thought all of the character building of Wanda being a villain makes sense within the context of WandaVision, and hear her motives when she shows up, you're like, yeah, I get it. At least I thought that. And she's probably one of my favorite MCU villains overall, but I also admire that they did stick with the turning her into a full-on villain thing, because I know I bring this up all the time, but another thing that I guess I could use as an example is whenever Rise of Skywalker's marketing was coming out, and they had Rey look like she was going to turn evil or something.
Yes.
I thought that would have been an amazing idea, and
I still like that idea.
Yeah, I still.
So much we can
I,
just delve into about Rise of Skywalker.
I know. It's funny that we've never even actually. Well, why would we do a review of it?
Yeah, it's like everyone has the
But
same opinion about that movie.
yeah,
It'd be rare for me to see someone go like, "I love that movie."
you and I are nicer to it than most people. And
Yeah, I
we're
mean,
still
then again,
like,
Star Wars
whatever.
fans like just if they hate or like if they dislike something, they hate it
Yep.
no matter
There's
what.
no. I I had to get into not an argument, but I had to explain my rating system to someone again recently
Hmm.
because there's just no such thing as layered thoughts anymore on the internet.
Hmm.
Like everything is either, oh, you didn't think it was the best movie ever, so you hated it. Like, no,
No.
I what if you liked it just fine?
Yeah.
What if you thought it was good? What if you thought it was great, but it had multiple problems? I don't know. Like, for example, in this, I've said this maybe on the show a lot. I'm not sure, but I'm sure I've said it at least once. Whenever a director shines through with their vision and their style
Hmm.
above all else, I tend to be even nicer to it because I'm like, they had a clear vision. They knew what they were going for. They set out from the start to make it this way, and that's how I feel about this movie. I don't really question Sam Raimi's style in this whatsoever. There's a lot of his signature insane zooms. There's some that one scene where there's that like 20-second stare with Mordo and Doctor Strange that I guess Kevin Feige asked if he could cut out, but I sort of read that as, I don't know, you know how articles blow things out of proportion
Yes.
and it'll be like, did you hear that? I don't know. I'm thinking of the Ryan Gosling piano thing again, but that's a bad example.
What piano thing?
Ryan Gosling learning the piano for
La La Land.
La La Land.
So.
Yeah. No, like, you know how we always say, people always bring up that this person said this, like, over and over, like
Oh.
Aragorn.
No. Oh
Aragorn,
gosh, that was the thing. I was like, please don't mention that. I'm tired.
Aragorn break toe.
Toe break helmet? Question mark. Aragon? Not the movie.
The film Aragon, starring Jeremy Irons.
Oh yeah, he was
and
in it.
I don't remember who else was in that, like, at all.
Hey, it's the same guy that was in Narnia, I think. Or they probably look the same.
Caspian?
Yeah,
Really?
I think so.
I don't know. I remember liking those books a lot as a kid,
Uh-huh.
and they made 3 of them, and it was a big deal that they were written by a teenager, and I guess whenever you read them now, you can tell that they're written by a teenager.
Dang, that's some shade. Calm down.
Well, I'm sorry. I was going to say Jared Padalecki. That's the supernatural guy. I don't... Eric Palin... No, that's the Fight Club guy. What's his name? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. He's irrelevant, just like his movie and book.
I don't think he made the movie.
I don't
think
care.
it was just based off his book.
I don't care. I want to roast this guy.
I remember the second book had a red dragon. I thought that was awesome.
Nice. I like dragons.
Back to this. I thought the action was really creative. I loved the piano fight.
Yes,
that
that
they did
was
in
that
this.
was amazing. I loved everything with Doctor Strange, and Wanda, of course. I just didn't. Well, I'm trying to think what else I love about this. I loved
think
America Chavez as well. I like
sh-
I don't know. I like her personality a lot, and
she's
like
a
the
great
very
new addition.
yes,
Yeah.
in terms of like how the other heroes are being added to the list and everything. I feel like she'll be great in terms of like interacting with other characters. So
I didn't think it was like an overtly like I kept hearing reviews that were like, this movie's scary, and I was like, I mean, it has jump scares in it, which I respect,
Yeah.
and it's definitely,
how do you respect
leaning-
jump scares? It's just if it happens, it happens. That's,
well, if they're better than, I don't know, like, for example, when they don't work is when they're fake.
I mean,
But
this
I
is
like
movie
that they're-
making, isn't it? Always fake. Interesting.
Movie films are real.
What? I think
Movies are real.
I think it's documentaries that are real.
Yeah, weren't you the same person that was like, every movie's a documentary, everything's real?
What?
You've said that. You may have been 12, but
Wait, weren't you just making fun of a teenager?
he's not a teenager anymore.
I can't.
It's not okay to make fun of teenagers. They were once children.
So you can't make fun of anybody. You can't make fun of that person. They were once a child. What?
What if it happened again? In terms of flaws with this, oh, I want to say something I loved in particular in this movie were the cameos. Specifically, that they did not appear to want to actually focus on them. So, whenever John Krasinski shows up, which is a fun nod, I don't know if he's going to be the official Mr. Fantastic or anything.
Yes.
Kevin Feige even said that I don't think that that's going to happen.
He's just old.
And Patrick Stewart and all of that. I think that I'm wondering what the process was behind that, because it reminded me of something from like Invincible, or
What do you mean Invincible?
yeah, just Invincible. Well, because you know how, spoilers for this show, which is incredible by the way, and I'm hoping season 2 is soon. Like, you know how it introduces the whole team and then
Oh yes.
kills them off immediately.
Yes.
And that's how I felt about that.
Oh yeah. It was like a shock factor.
It was a shock value thing, and I also thought that it added to the weight of Wanda as a threat in the entire grand scheme of things. The other thing about this movie that I love is, and every time he shows up, I just wish that he was in it more, is Wong.
Oh yes.
Every time he's anywhere, I'm always like, he should just be one of the central characters, but then he always ends up going somewhere else.
Yes. I mean, it was really cool to see him in like Shang-Chi. So like, who knows, like,
True.
yeah, I guess like they're definitely like portraying him as like a Nick Fury type of thing. So, which is cool to see.
I don't know if you're going to agree with me on this, but I think I liked this about as much as I liked the first one. It's different enough, because what the MCU needs to do now, whether or not everything that they do works, and it's totally fine if some of this stuff doesn't, risks are always worth taking, is they need to shake up how their stuff works. And I thought this had enough of its own personality in comparison to something like the movie before it. Like, I wouldn't say that Doctor Strange had also shown up in No Way Home. I wouldn't say that they're similar in tone really at all, and they're different for sure. And this movie leans into a lot of the kind of, I wouldn't call it cheesy, because I don't know if people think that that's a good term or not, but I would say that it's over the top for sure, which is
the Illuminati
term. Okay, let's get I want to talk about that more with Thor.
Oh, okay.
In terms of
okay, calm down.
But as I don't know, I'm a defender of pretty much.
My problem with the Doctor Strange movie was just the fact that it didn't really feel like a whole, like Doctor Strange, right? There were certain things where, okay, like his relationship with what's her name, Rachel McAdams,
Christine Palmer.
Yes, Christine Palmer.
Christine.
I didn't think the payoff. I think the payoff between the relationship wasn't warranted, because I felt like it was just rushed to the point, which I love the line that it was said, but I just didn't feel like there was enough weight to it.
No, I fully agree with you. It would be like that line in WandaVision where Vision says, "What is grief if not love persevering?"
Yes.
But they wouldn't have built up their relationship at all.
Oh yeah, because like you see that relationship built up like since Civil War.
Yeah.
And it's just like insane.
And this is just the second movie with him and Christine.
Yes.
And I would have also liked to see more of that, because that line could have such a heavier impact.
Yes.
If they chose to, I don't know, stretch that relationship build over 3 or 4 movies. Same thing as, and the MCU is so good at this too. Yeah. So it sort of surprised me, like Spider-Man and Tony Stark, that whole thing lasting like 5 or 6 movies.
Yes.
And like letting you really live with it, because this is a franchise and you of course see them in different things. So I don't know. Also, in terms of, it's funny how some of my flaws, I guess, are similar. I'll probably be repeating myself a little bit down the line. But I didn't think that this movie was rushed per se so much as I was like, all right, calm down, pump the brakes. Like, this could have been an additional 20 to 30 minutes and I would not have minded, just of focusing up a little bit on some of the stuff that they were telling.
Yeah.
Like,
I wish they just showcased more of Doctor Strange and what he's like, his struggles and everything throughout the movie. Because I did like the questions that they were asking him, where it's like, are you happy? Are you content with like the choices that you made and all that? I wish they explored that more, but it felt like it was half and half with like him and Wanda, which I loved all the stuff with Wanda. Like, she's great villain, just her arc in that was like amazing, right? But I felt like that overshadowed what Doctor Strange was trying to do with as well.
yeah, if they would have called this, I don't know, Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch in the Multiverse of Madness, may be a different story.
Yes.
But this is really focusing, like, my takeaway from this is I remember Wanda a bit more than I remember Doctor Strange in this.
Yes.
And I do love Doctor Strange as a character. I think Benedict Cumberbatch, I can't imagine anyone else in that role
I can.
anymore. You can?
Yeah.
Who?
Cares.
Oh, I gotta send you a meme
No.
about that later, actually.
Oh gosh.
No, but I think that, I don't know, like, maybe it's also because she got the benefit of WandaVision. But you did remind me, the core question of this entire movie, I love. It reminds me of Spider-Man 2, for example. Peter Parker's entire inner struggle of how do I, balance my life and being a superhero? Why do I even want to be a superhero? And Doctor Strange asks Doctor Strange the question, like, you are so overpowered. Like, and then it asks him, since you are so overpowered, do you think that you are finding any happiness in this? And he just keeps on telling himself, yeah, definitely, the whole time. Until at the end, he realizes that the only thing that would make him actually happy is Christine being back in his life.
Yeah.
And if they just would have elaborated on that more, I think that the entire thesis of this movie would have hit so much harder if they would have delved a bit more into their relationship with each other. Like, I could see that question being asked Doctor Strange, like, the whole "are you happy" thing down the line, and it sort of having a massive effect on him. I don't know, like, the MCU is so good at that in terms of they do this one thing with this character for so long, but then they ask them this question eventually. It just depends on each character. Like, Spider-Man, it's pretty much sort of, everyone understands that after the third one, it was him growing into officially being Spider-Man. And it was like, are you willing to make these sacrifices, giving up your friends, giving up all of that to save everyone around you? And that was built up.
Yes.
So you feel that whenever that movie ends. That's still such an incredible movie to me. It's still my favorite Spider-Man movie. That's not going to change.
Oh, really? You don't think the next three, they're not going to change your opinion?
Oh, I mean, for now. I don't mean if more came out and they were better.
No.
But
I'm going to hold on to Spider-Man 3.
the third one?
Yeah.
I will defend that movie forever. It's good.
Did we get Spider-Man 3 wrong?
Okay, thank you for bringing that up. There's another thing that I don't like about MCU discourse, I guess. Twitter discourse, but we've talked about this. You go on Twitter a lot, and then you think that everyone thinks this way, but then you go outside, and you're like, oh, people are normal. Never mind. Like, there's this weird reappraisal of Thor: The Dark World right now that everyone's like, oh man, wait a minute, I hate Thor 3 and 4. Now I love 2. And you're like, I remember when everyone told me that they did not like Thor: The Dark World, and I like that movie. I was like, but you mean to tell me that you're going to go back and revise your history to be like, yeah, no, Ragnarok was never good in the first place. And Thor: The Dark World of all movies is what you're starting to defend? I don't get that. And then I saw people were like, hey, wait a minute, Eternals is actually pretty good. I'm like, yeah, I know. I think that too. I don't know what this cycle is that always happens. It's always like everyone universally praises something, and then
I think
everyone is like,
I think it's probably because like when you go into like these movies now, it's like I think everyone's going in there with high expectations. Like they expect to be blown away
yeah,
by something now, and so when they don't, it's like, oh, that was disappointing. That sucks, right? And so when they go back to it, weeks, months, years later, they're like they go in there with like low expectations, very very
it's the
low,
same.
and then it's like, wow, that was actually like pretty good and fast paced.
It's the same thing as if Everything Everywhere All at Once wins Best Picture this year.
Uh-huh.
It's gonna have this big turnaround about people who hate it or whatever. It's just what happens. La La Land, that happened. Birdman. If you are a Best Picture winner, that will happen to you. Back to Doctor Strange, I guess.
Yes.
I don't know. I completely have lost how to rank all this stuff because it doesn't matter. Like me telling you Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is at like, I don't know, number 20 on my list or something. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, when it comes to ranking to these movies now, I don't even know where I would put these. It's hard.
Yeah, it's why we stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we don't even do the ranking episodes anymore because, I don't know, my opinion could change. Also, I'm just sort of here for this universe, and sometimes one will grow on you, the other one you'll think like, I think I like this one more than this one now, actually.
Yeah,
Or it
I
depends on
still
your
like
mood.
Ant-Man more than any other one.
Or I see that one list all the time that has Captain America: The First Avenger at number 1 and
It
Ant-Man at
started.
number 2.
It started it all.
It's like the 4th movie.
No. In terms of timeline, right?
Oh yeah.
Wait, wouldn't it be Eternals then?
Oh, I guess.
I can't. I just love that art whenever it's like the one that started it all, like the first Iron Man movie.
I think Thor: The Dark World though is like, in the beginning there was darkness. Now there are elves.
So I guess Thor: The Dark World's my favorite.
Which one started it all?
The Avengers, because that's when they first worked together as a team.
I've seen that logic too, but did we get Age of Ultron wrong?
Ah man,
I don't
Danny,
know.
we were
I
the
don't know
only
what to tell
ones
you.
defending Age of Ultron back then.
I know it was difficult, but now everyone's like, "Wow, it set so much up. I didn't even realize it." You're like, "Don't."
Us at 14. Gosh darn it.
Wait, when did that come out?
I don't know.
We were 16.
Really?
It was a 2015 movie. Yes. Anyway,
Oh.
what's your score for this?
Oh, I would give it a 4 out of 5.
Okay. I think I gave it 4.5. I gotta clarify something about our rating system too. I think in terms of how I view that, especially with Marvel,
Mm-hmm.
Marvel kind of has its own like, does this do this to Marvel's best ability?
Yeah.
Pretty much. Because I saw someone actually clarify this, like they were doing the Fast and Furious movies and they were rating them, and they called it the Fast and Furious scale, where they were like, my star system is based on how the Fast and Furious movies work.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that makes sense to me, because how I always view the rating system is, what does the movie set out to do? How well does it do it?
I mean, isn't that like every movie though?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like whatever. I mean, it's like what I said. I don't remember which episode it was, but where explaining like criticism and how people like critique things. Basically, they critique.
Obi-Wan?
Yeah, they critique their own expectations more so than like what the show or like movie is giving you.
Yeah.
Type of thing. So.
Well, why do you think Love and Thunder is only compared to Ragnarok right now? Because
Yes.
those were cut from the same cloth,
Mm-hmm.
more or less. Yeah, no, we both... It sounds like we both liked it, but we still have our reservations about it.
I mean, we still enjoy it. I mean, at the end,
Yeah.
we still enjoy those movies regardless, just because of like
No,
the world itself.
No, exactly.
World?
And
Dark World?
do you... The best Marvel movie? The one that didn't really...
The one that
anything,
started
but-
it all? Because of Dark Elves?
Loki?
Loki?
What do you think about this phase not really heading towards anything yet? Does that bother you?
No.
It doesn't bother me either, and I find that so fascinating that that's the main critique of the world right now. And I'm like, I remember when all of you were all mad that all of these movies were hurtling towards something.
Yeah.
And now that even Kevin Feige clarified, he was like, I just kind of want to make a few one-offs, which is totally fine at the moment. Now everyone's like, where's this even going? I'm like, I'm fine spending time with these characters, though. I put them in a well-told story, and what's wrong with that?
Yeah.
The more and more these movies go on, the more I do agree with that comparison that people compare them to Westerns. The 60s and 70s at the time, Westerns were the popular thing. There were like a million of them. You could pick and choose which ones you wanted to see. Some were better than others. Some are hailed as some of the best movies of all time. And they all sort of have this formula, but that formula is obviously all right. It's doing well. And I bet whenever I was watching a bunch of Westerns for the first time, I bet in, 20 to 30 years down the line, some kid or something's going to find these and probably do the same thing. Like, you could watch them in order. You could not, if you wanted to, fully experience it. I don't know. I'm just curious how a franchise like this as a whole will be experienced down the line. It's something that I've thought about recently. But anyway, let's move on. We're going to talk about a show now. Moon Knight.
No.
Starring Oscar Isaac.
Isaac?
What? Oscar Isaac Hernandez Estrada.
Nice. That was good.
What'd you think of this?
I love his name. Oh, the show.
What'd you think of the show?
Oh, I love the show. I thought it was really good.
I love it.
You don't
I don't
remember.
know. It's once again with the shows, I think they all start so strong, and then I don't know if they waver or not in the middle. They don't really.
No.
But then the last episode, I think, always. I'm not gonna say that it's bad. I'm not gonna say that it's good. It's just that I always feel like they miss a mark, like they are. That's his name in this.
Whoa. Hey, that was pretty good.
I don't know. It just feels like I think that they're so scared of the TV format and not ending it completely solidified with a. They always want to do it with a complete ending, and I think that if you want to end on a cliffhanger, that's fine. But these don't. I think a different show might have focused on the prison. He's not in prison. He's in the psych ward. When it turns into Marvel Shutter Island. For a bit.
Dude, those were great episodes.
I just wish the 6-episode format makes them feel like really long movies.
Yes.
Which is fine, but I wish that they would lean into more of the TV format. And I want Oscar Isaac so badly to be integrated into the overall MCU. This character is fascinating. One of the best characters introduced in this the world so far. Contrast to the other stuff, I like how disconnected this is. This feels very sort of focused and tight on just Mark and Steven. And Ethan Hawke is great in this. You have anything?
No, I mean, I totally agree with what you just said about how disconnected it is from like every other like show and movie, because my worry is whenever how like they handled with the other like Marvel Netflix series.
Oh yeah.
How they would always say like that big green guy. I just can't get over the fact that they just can't say the name. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know why. But then they would sometimes.
Yes.
Like in Daredevil, they say Hulk at least once.
Yes.
But then they'd be like, "Oh yeah, the guy with the hammer,
The guy with
Thor.
the hammer.
His name is Thor."
What do you mean? You don't know?
Yeah. Like, and Miss Marvel, obviously, Spider-Man. They know all their names. They say their names.
Yes.
Like a lot. I don't know. The stuff I didn't love in this actually was the action. I just thought it was kind of.
You
I thought
didn't like the
serviceable.
action?
I thought some of it was well done, but the final episode, I don't know. I guess I wish was more focused on character, but that's not what we got. So we did get. I liked overall. I liked the stuff with the gods and all of that.
Yes.
But I would have liked more focus on just Steven and Mark overall. But this is one of those things where I'm like, what am I complaining about exactly? Because I love Oscar Isaac and this, and he's like in every scene.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I'm just saying I want more of the thing that you're presenting to me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, overall, I really enjoyed the show. I'm trying to remember. I don't think I really had any problems from that show particularly. I think every episode was utilized well in terms of like explaining like Mark's different personalities, like Ethan Hawke's character as well, understanding his like passion and what made him do what he does in that show. What's her name? I don't remember her name.
The beautiful woman?
Yes.
Shoot. I know who you're talking about.
Yes.
She has curly hair,
yes,
which I like.
Okay, Daniel, I don't know why you have to clarify that.
What's her name?
Wait, don't I have curly hair?
Uh-oh. No.
Oh, okay.
There's a... Never mind, this is not... I'm not going to...
Wait, are we going to rate this show?
No.
Okay, good, because I don't know how to rate this. Because I
don't know how to rate it either. I just give them, like, hearts on Letterboxd.
Yeah.
The shows.
Yes, the show's worth watching. I feel like, especially since... I think after Loki is whenever, like, the viewership of these shows have been going down and down.
I think it's because the more these go on, the more they focus on, like, who is this? Like, who's this character?
Yes.
I'm not going to claim that I knew who Moon Knight was beforehand, but did I know stuff about him? No. I do want to see more of his... I don't know, because Ms. Marvel did this. I want to see more of his Jewish heritage, I guess, like why that's important to him.
Yeah.
Because they mention it briefly, but not a lot.
Yeah.
I also thought like I said, I'm not great at picking out not great CG, but people do that all the time. Yes. And I was like, I don't know, it looks good to me.
And Moon Knight?
Yeah.
I don't remember like any bad CGI.
Someone pointed out to me that they didn't enjoy there's a shot where I guess the ice cream truck in the first episode doesn't look great, but I don't remember it.
Yeah, I don't remember it. I don't know. I mean, it's getting to the point now with like VFX as well, where it feels like it looks so real it's fake.
Yeah.
Type of thing as well.
Like Polar Express.
Yeah. I still like that.
That's a bad example. That movie sucks.
I like that movie.
But like the Dead Eyes. Like,
oh yeah.
That they make fun of in Chippendale. Yeah. Or Cats.
I haven't seen Cats. I'm not gonna watch Cats.
I have. You should watch Cats.
No.
Oh.
I watch Cats and Dogs.
Have you seen Rise of Kitty Galore?
Rise of Kitty Galore. Why does that sound
the
familiar?
second one?
Yes, I have.
Cats and Dogs.
Yes.
You have?
Yeah.
I didn't get to see it because my parents didn't take it to me whenever it came out. I saw like everything else except for that one movie. As number one G-Force fan in 2010.
Oh gosh, G-Force.
All the Black Eyed Peas songs.
I've seen G-Force too many times.
Was it you who logged into my Disney Plus?
And played it again? Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to.
I was like, who was watching this? Anyway, watch G-Force. Moon Knight's good.
Yes.
Yeah. Is it your favorite of the shows so far?
It's definitely up there. Moon Knight, Loki, what was it? Oh, Hawkeye.
What do I love? I was like, I love Hawkeye.
Yeah, Hawkeye was great.
That's my thing. Yeah.
And then, I think that's it. And then, like, WandaVision would come after.
All of them, I think, are at least great.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, yeah, they're all good.
I think I can confidently say that, yeah.
Well, let's get to Miss Marvel real quick. I have some things I want to talk about.
We'll do Miss Marvel, then Thor?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about Miss Marvel.
Okay. What's your thoughts on Miss Marvel?
I'm going to ask you first. Yeah. It sounds like you're like, oh, I hate...
I hate what? Wait, I'm sorry. What were you trying to say?
Yeah, I said Miss Marvel.
I didn't hate Miss Marvel.
So why'd you just say it?
I just said I don't hate Miss Marvel.
That's not what I heard.
I just think it's probably like one of my
Anyway,
least.
Erwin, why'd you hate Miss Marvel?
I feel like I'm a politician getting interviewed. Have you seen RDC World 1, like the YouTube channel?
What on earth did you just say?
RDC World 1? That's like their
No.
YouTube channel name. It's like
It
these
sounded
group of
like you made
guys.
up words.
I know it's a group of guys that they're here in like Houston, and
Okay.
they just do a bunch of skits. And they did like this one skit where they're making fun of like interviewers and how they interview like certain artists and everything. And then they just basically like how they like make a question
Oh, I'm
political.
sorry. I looked them up. I do know
Yeah.
them. I know who this is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're I don't know. Whenever you said so, why do you hate Miss Marvel? It just reminded me. I was like one of those videos that they said.
Do you remember the joke in Atlanta where he's like, "So what? You hate women?"
Oh, you hate
He's
women?
like-
What? Yeah, exactly. It's just like that. I'm like, that, I don't know. That made me laugh. Okay, so in Miss Marvel, I really like what's her name? The main
Iman
actress?
Vellani.
Yes, she
Yeah.
plays a great Miss Marvel. Or just like I like her character. It reminds me of Homecoming a lot,
Yeah.
and so which I love because I loved Homecoming as well. And
Did you now? Go on.
I love the first like 2 or 3 episodes.
Really?
Yes, and then I didn't like I really didn't like, or I just didn't dislike it. It's just more so like I just thought it was just meh. Episodes like 4 and 5, and then the last episode that I just saw, I enjoyed. I enjoyed like the last, like 15 or 20 minutes. I would say. I think what I didn't like is like the one character that was introduced, the son of the bad guy, or like the one lady.
The British boy.
Yeah, I guess yes, British boy.
Yeah.
He at first I liked him, but then like at the very end of the show, I just didn't care. I don't know, like the more times like he just showed up, like the less and less I cared about him. I don't know why. I just find his like presence kind of annoying, and I just didn't like
Okay.
him. I really liked Bruno, and I liked her other friend as well, and I like her
Yeah.
family. I like her family's dynamic as well. Like, I just like how supportive they were towards her and everything that she was doing. Like,
I was really surprised by the last episode. I don't know why I didn't think that they would do that, but I was like, oh, cool.
yeah, that was like really cool, and I was like, whoa, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I just love the fact that the mom's very supportive and like gave her a costume, and her dad like gave her name, and it's just like it's amazing.
Okay, but that speech is like amazing.
Oh yes,
I loved.
Oh
that
yeah, I
little,
love that speech.
Like, yeah.
I was like, it's amazing. Yeah, I just loved everything about it. The CGI was okay. I like it felt kind of obvious, but at the same time, just like
No.
I don't know when it comes to like even really bad CGI, I'm just like I really don't care, you know.
Number one Van Helsing fan in the world over here.
I just love Van Helsing.
Although this doesn't look anything like that. Like,
That's not how werewolves and vampires look like.
how would you know?
We calm down. But I don't know, like I think this show in particularly, like it's just weird because it felt like a roller coaster in terms of like at first it got me like really excited, right? Just in the very beginning, and then it just hit really low, and then it's just like it barely went up on the last episode. And so I felt like
Oh no, go ahead.
yeah, I just felt like this show as a whole is probably like my least favorite in terms of the other shows, because with the other shows it felt like it was inclining while this show had a decline like right in the middle. It's weird because like this show is like 6 episodes, and typically like the last few shows that were happening it were 6 episodes as well, and they were like they were really good. Like every episode it felt like important, felt like I was interested. But comparable to like Miss Marvel, like anytime she was in another country, I just felt like no interest in it. And I think it's just because like the other characters are surrounding her weren't that interesting to me, and they didn't really feel threatening to me or like to Miss Marvel. And it just didn't really showcase her character well enough for me to care about them.
I am realizing something here.
All right, Gandhi.
It is so easy to get me with a character that is, I don't know, just in love with superheroes and looks up to them.
Dude, but like this, do
And
you remember like
is,
the style of the first two episodes?
yeah, and they bring it back a little bit at the end.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, where was that like throughout the rest of the
But
episodes? Like, it felt like it was just there, and I was like, that's amazing, that's awesome, right? And it's like, and the fact that they just didn't bring it all for like a couple episodes later, I was like, that's literally who her
yeah.
personality is. I was like, why didn't you
No,
like showcase that?
the first couple episodes I thought were that whole show was going to be the way.
Yes.
So I'm not even going to disagree with you, but I
Yeah, you
guess
shouldn't.
I just feel a little bit nicer towards episodes 4 and 5
Mm-hmm.
because I love the first three,
Yeah.
and I really liked the last one. And 4 and 5, 4 I liked, 5 I was just kind of like, all right, I don't dislike this, but Aman Vellani is one of the best new additions to this world.
Yes.
I think that I want to see her interact with Captain Marvel. That's going to be a bit of a payoff for me whenever that happens.
Oh yes.
But whenever the show falters a little bit, she is what carries it. She's the reason why I'm still invested. Like, if they wouldn't have made her so great,
Yes.
I probably wouldn't have liked this anywhere near as much.
Yeah, that's true.
I loved the family a lot, which is why whenever they go to Pakistan
Yes.
in this show, I feel like something's missing because it's just the mom who they also, the parents in this, their connection with their daughter is also one of the
Yeah.
best parts of this
Yeah, and
whole
I
show.
really like her
It's-
brother as well. Like,
Yeah, he's funny. I like him. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It just sucked when like she was on her own with like these other characters that were involved in Pakistan, and
Mhm.
I don't know. It's just like they didn't carry. I guess like their characters alone, they were just like supposed to be menacing, and just like very secluded from everybody, and I guess it just didn't really connect with me as well as like her other friends and like family, you know.
I didn't love the villain of this.
No, the
At
villain was very
As a matter
blunt.
of fact, when she dies in episode
Yeah.
5, I was like, cool, we can focus
Yes,
on
me too.
something
I
else.
was like, yes, finally.
Yeah.
But then like that's when like then like her that one guy, the
Oh,
British
yeah.
guy gets powers. I'm like, I don't care. Why does he get powers?
He's interesting enough, but I
No,
was like,
see, I didn't find him
wouldn't,
interesting.
I wouldn't want him to come back.
Yeah, me too.
Like,
Whenever he's like, leave,
yeah.
like, cool, just leave him there. Don't bring him back. I was like, I don't want to. I really don't care. I was like, why does he have powers? I don't know. I was just like, I don't know. I mean, I honestly, I don't understand like the whole power dynamic or like
Mm.
her power still. To be honest, like I honestly still fully don't understand.
They changed them a little bit
Yeah.
because she has the stretchy arms and all that. Like,
Yeah.
she's basically Luffy from One Piece, which my thing.
Yeah.
She is though, or Mr. Fantastic a little bit.
Hmm.
I don't mind how the big like arms look and stuff. It's interesting that for this show, for me, everything that I'm like not invested in is the superhero-y stuff.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
the action is it's all right.
Mhm.
I like, I don't have any gripes with it. It's well shot and everything. It's just that I'd much rather see the moments where she's with her family or when she's figuring out how to be a superhero
Yeah.
or what. Like, I understand already why this character wants to be a superhero. We talked
Mhm.
about that with Doctor Strange and Thor in a second, like why he does what he does. I think the core question, like whenever you ask each of them, what's your why, is so fascinating to me. And it's why something like Hawkeye, which also has a kind of, this is closest in tone to that show
Hmm.
and to Homecoming. It's why, like, if you zero in on that specific tone for me, I always end up loving it pretty much. But Hawkeye, the difference is the action-y stuff is well done in that too. Like, you remember episode 3 whenever they have that like one take car chase?
Oh
from
yes.
it's brilliant. It's so well done, and it's exciting. Or the ice rink stuff in episode 6.
Yeah, like like even like stuff like that where it's like I when it comes to action pieces in like shows, like of course they're not gonna like be as amazing as like in movies and everything.
Yeah.
When they do stuff like that though, it's insane. But like what carries shows are definitely just like the characters around, because then you have more time to spend with those characters.
Hmm.
And so when they develop those characters really well, that's what stands out to me more so than just like any other action scenes. Because the action scenes in Miss Marvel were like they were okay, like
I thought
they were like
episode 4's was well done.
see I don't remember episode 4.
The reason why I remember is because there's a part I really liked where they're going on that really slow little like trolley thing, and
Mm-hmm.
then the truck hits them and they go sideways.
Yeah,
I
see,
thought that was clever.
yeah, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I thought it. I don't know. Episode 4 and 5 for me were just very bland. So
Mhm. Overall, I think this show is quite good. I don't know where I'd put it or anything.
yeah,
It's sort of funny. I was like, even for my flaws, I'm like, I would take a season 2 of this immediately. I'm like, give me more of
I would take season 2
this.
if it was her
Yeah.
just in school, still and just
Still,
like
yeah.
learning and all that. I think because I just like that homecoming aspect. That's why.
Yeah.
And like even
And I was
Spider-Man
like,
Homecoming, that was like one of my favorite parts though. Just like him being Spider-Man, but also like in school.
and bring your style back. You had such a distinct like what the show
Yes.
was when it first
When they
started.
show the text and everything like that, or like
It was so-
emojis, I'm like, that
Yeah.
was amazing.
It was brilliant. There's the one where like her little sign it says hello.
Yes.
And I thought that was incredible. Or they have also they play a Wallow song, so yes. uh,
What
I don't know
song?
all that stuff. I don't want to talk.
Why? We're recording.
What?
Sorry, I broke the
The
fourth
name of
wall.
this- The name of the that's not possible. Hey guys, we're on a podcast. Yeah, I don't know. I really liked it overall. I don't. My least favorite of the shows is What If, but
Oh yeah, I forgot about that show.
I-
I don't know.
every time I'm like, what's my least favorite show? I'm like, well, episode 4 of What If is the Doctor Strange one. So
Yeah, I'd probably say What If is probably my least favorite comparable to Miss Marvel, just because I like more episodes in Miss Marvel than I do What If.
yeah, none of which in that are bad. It's just
Yeah.
some of them are just so like, all right, I saw that one.
Yeah, I mean,
What's the
I
next
think
one?
I would like What If more if they just focus on making each episode and like what the episode like pertains to better instead of just trying to connect it all.
Yeah, they didn't really make it. They made it so narrow,
Yes.
and the whole point of What If is like, what if I don't know, everything in the universe.
What
was
if
a
everything
duck.
everywhere came in one came all at once?
came all at once? That'd be a big problem. Yucky. No, I really like Miss Marvel. I mean, I
Yeah.
have my issues with it. I've stated them. I don't love they made the damage control people like really goofy.
Yeah.
That I don't know what I thought of them. The guy from Succession was awesome, but that's just because I know him from Succession.
What guy?
His name is Stewie in the show. He was in No Way Home.
Oh, that guy?
Yeah,
Oh. I can't watch that show, Daniel.
you should.
It's getting to
though.
be too mainstream.
Oh no, because it got all those Emmy nominations.
Yes.
I'm pretty happy with the Emmy nominations, but it's mostly because they nominated everything I love.
The only thing I haven't seen is that Succession.
And Better Call Saul, the recent season. you
Dude,
mean?
no. I mean, I've seen
Sir.
Better Call Saul,
Yeah.
but not the new season. But I definitely need to get on it because I'm like so close getting spoiled now. I'm like, oh crap! Like I need to get on that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything else.
Yeah.
I do want to do a full episode on that whole show though. Whenever it's
Okay,
done.
we'll get to it.
Yeah. We don't rate shows, so I thought this was good. I like the Bon Jovi stuff too, because I like Bon Jovi. Now we talk about this movie. I'm wanting to get into some of the stuff that sort of surrounds it, discourse, all that. But first, let's talk about the movie itself. Thor: Love and Thunder is Taika Waititi's latest film in the MCU franchise. It's the 29th Marvel movie,
What?
I believe. Yeah.
29.
And this has gotten, I'm not going to call it mixed reception. It's at like, last time I checked, it was at like 69% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is a good score. So that's lower than what this phase usually, or these movies usually are at.
Uh-huh.
Eternals is at like 49, 48. That's pretty split down the middle. While this is more around the Incredible Hulk, Thor, the Dark World area. And while I like this better than those two, I'm going to go ahead and say I get it.
Get what? Oh, no, Daniel, we know you get it.
I really like this movie, with the exception of me saying that it is a bit more flawed than usual for Marvel, for me. And before we go any further, I'm going to go ahead and ask you, what did you think?
I liked it. But it definitely had some problems for me. More than usual, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I mean, I guess we do know what it is, but more so like...
No, I know.
It's just weird. Especially when it comes to like their movies lately. Because for me, their problem was never like length.
Yeah.
It's just more so like what they decide to show us, you know, and what was important.
I still think this movie's too short, though.
Yeah.
And it's mostly because... All right, let me get into the positives of this first before I mix it sound like I hate this. I really like this movie. I think that Chris Hemsworth, feel he's not talked about enough because you just sort of think he's Thor anyway. He is so good in this role. He is unbelievably committed. He sells you on it totally. And he says that he wants to do it forever, and I get it. I was like, he looks like he's having the time of his life playing this character.
Mm-hmm.
I love Tessa Thompson, even though I feel like she's not utilized enough in this. I love Christian Bale, even though I feel like he's not utilized enough in this.
Yes.
And the same goes with Natalie Portman. All of that stuff is great. It's just that I don't know what it is that I feel like they're just not present enough in what they get to do.
And it's funny because it's like they're on the screen like enough.
Always.
Yes. So like
Yeah.
I think it's just because in terms of like their growth and their development in that movie, they didn't really get to showcase that, you know, and the jokes. So
Yeah, let's get into that.
yeah, I guess I don't know what to say. Some jokes just were hit and miss. They really were.
Yeah.
And it just felt like some of them were just they eased off the tension from it, and it's just like they had so many interesting like ideas, like you said before, and they just never like followed through with it. Instead, they rather just say a joke instead.
See, Taika Waititi doing this confuses me because he is so good at balancing dramatic tension and being funny. Jojo Rabbit is one of my favorite movies of the past few years. It is so sad, but it's also so funny. And same goes for Hunt for the Wilder People. Same goes for, well, What We Do in the Shadows is just funny. That's not anything other than that.
Yeah, it's not anything serious.
Yeah. And I've heard that has another indie movie coming out this year that I bet will be probably amazing. Thor Ragnarok, same thing. Well, that's not really sad at any point. It's just that here, and we usually defend this. We're never like, Marvel's too funny. Like I'd never really fully understood that until in this one, there was a scene, and I just can't remember exactly like pinpointing when it happened, but the things are serious. Like it's a very serious scene. I'm not gonna call this movie a full-on comedy because whenever gore shows up, it feels like something else completely.
Yeah.
Like they gave Christian Bale all the dread and all the. He feels so menacing as a presence, and he's great when he's in it.
Yes.
And I love a lot of this movie is visually dazzling and pretty, and the black and white stuff is the best part of this whole thing to me. It's so creative and well done. But then you have a moment like there's a lot of Korg in this movie. And I was telling you whenever we reviewed Lightyear,
yeah.
I was like, look, I love Taika Waititi as a filmmaker. he needs to back off on
Yo, Daniel, you
his
sound like you have a problem with him. Like he needs to back off.
on his screen presence though, because I think he's a good actor too.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a scene where I think it's Thor talking to Jane, and it's like really serious, and they're having an actual conversation with each other. One of
Yes.
the moments where the movie like doesn't have levity, because everything that they did with Jane, I loved.
Yes.
But then it cuts to Korg, and he says something that's just so not like, it doesn't land at all,
Mm-hmm.
and he sounds more like a dick than it does like a joke.
Yeah.
That it came off so weird to me, and I don't know. This is, I would say 85% of the jokes hit. It's just the 15% that don't. You're kind of like, oh well, I mean, all right.
Yeah, that's
Like,
how it felt as well.
yeah,
I just like, yeah, like characters like Gore and like Lady Thor, they were just they were such amazing and interesting characters, and the fact that they weren't like being utilized as much kind of sucked for me,
yeah.
because I was excited for like both of them. And even Valkyrie, like Valkyrie is like I still a character that I really enjoyed, but like they still didn't utilize her as well.
Like this movie will go more for the joke than it will for
Yeah.
the tension that it builds, which is weird because I feel like another movie where I'm surprised that it's not, I don't know, 45 minutes longer than it is,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm sure it would make $1 billion still if they went ahead and did that. It feels like it's telling a bunch of different stories,
Mm-hmm.
and you could have made each individual one of them a movie. You could have had them go to the Greek place and with all the gods, and that probably would have been interesting just as its own thing. I like whatever it is Russell Crowe
Yeah, Russell Crowe.
is doing. I get him confused with Gerard Butler. I don't know why.
I mean, they kind of
Uh,
actually, yeah, I see it.
yeah, I like whatever Russell Crowe's doing
Mm-hmm.
in his stuff. That action scene's fun, and the stuff with Gore and the children also feels like its own movie.
Yeah.
But then you find out that Taika Waititi, and I was watching a video about this earlier, and this is true. He's from New Zealand, so his sense of humor comes off weird to people sometimes.
What does that
A
have
lot
to
of
do
people
with?
think. Well, what I mean is a lot of people think that he's not joking when he is joking, because he's hard to. They have a very specific sort of deadpan sense of humor, and and when you do interviews like in America and stuff, it's sort of hard to translate. You don't know if he's being serious or not. For example, there was an interview recently, like I told you about this, and I don't know if it's true,
Mm-hmm.
but but I guess it came from Natalie Portman and Christian Bale
Yeah.
and Chris Hemsworth, and they were like, yeah, we shot a 4-hour movie and half of it's missing.
See, but like
And
I do believe that just because like
yeah,
the amount of money and like time and hours, you know, like they go into it. Like what I don't understand is like the editing process. Then that's what I don't understand because like
yeah,
the pacing and like how like they went to like so many different locations. It just never felt like for a movie like itself. Like it didn't feel. It didn't feel narrow. It just felt like they were just going all over the place.
place to place.
Yes, and you just felt
Well,
like where are we going? You know.
a 3-hour movie with incredible pacing will feel much shorter
Yes.
than an hour and a half movie with terrible pacing. And this sort of lands somewhere in the middle where it feels sort of disjointed and choppy, and they're sort of hopping around from place to place
Mm-hmm.
without any kind of driving momentum. It's weird because each individual segment on each part that they're in this movie I enjoy, but it's the connective tissue that I think is kind of missing a little bit.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to see more Jane. She just got back into this franchise. I would like to see more of that.
Yes.
And I think that this is the best she's ever been in any of these. And I get why they kill her in this for tension and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like, oh, damn, you just got her back too.
Oh no, that's true.
And
I mean, I don't mind her like being killed off and everything. I just wish we spent more time with her then, so I felt like it would have had more of an impact.
yeah.
You know,
Getting into what I really love, though,
the
is
goats.
I do like the goats a lot in this. They're quite funny.
We're fine. Name every goat.
there are two.
Oh, damn, that was easy.
I don't know if it's the marketing or not, because you know how we say like, oh,
Mhm.
you're judging this based off of what you wanted, not what you got.
Yes.
I was like, damn it, I did want more of the Guardians of the Galaxy, though. I get that it's
Really?
not their movie, but
Dude, no, that was
I
not me.
love them. I don't know. Whenever
That's
they
funny.
leave,
Yeah.
like they pretty much give Star-Lord gives him, the reason for the movie
Yeah.
existing. He's like, what do you love? And then Thor's
Your
like,
mom.
you
Oh.
or you, and then they're like, nah, never mind. See you. It does start off really funny. Like, I like that whole opening bit a lot. Whenever Korg is doing the narration thing,
Oh yeah.
and he's doing his workout montage, which any workout montage ever,
I love.
number one.
Yes.
Fan. Should have been longer. That's, I don't know. I feel not all over the place about it. I still really like it. I'm wondering if I'll like it more down the line.
Yeah. Hopefully I like it more, but I know whenever I saw Doctor Strange, I didn't feel that way.
That same thing happened.
Yeah, I thought like watching it again would make me go,
Yeah.
oh, I love this movie more, but I still felt the same way. I feel like with this one, it might come off as just like, I think what you and I talked about is like, it felt like another Ant-Man.
Yeah,
Like Ant-Man was just
it's
like
another good one.
Yeah, like another good one. Like it made me laugh. Like there were certain parts where it
Yeah.
made me laugh and everything. It didn't feel like there was more to it. I think because it's like just the director himself, you know.
This is a very easy watch to me. Like if you were like, "Hey, I'm going to specifically watch Thor: Love and Thunder," I
Yeah.
would probably say, "Yeah, okay."
Yeah.
Like, and then I would watch all of it with no real issue. But it's also not like it's not one of the, more. I don't know. Not every one of these has to make you think about anything or whatever. But like asking Thor again, this one is another. What makes you, especially whenever there have been a lot of movies with Thor in them, and what is making him feel not special now that he's had, like, because he's a god, but what is it that he's searching for, and them giving him a daughter, I would like to see wherever that's going.
Yeah, I was just so I did not expect that, to be perfectly honest. But
I didn't really
I really
either.
liked it though. I like the fact that he's a dad, but I wish he was a dad just because it's actually his own
His-
kid.
I don't know, the whole thing, the selfless sacrifice, because it's more about, how a movie, a character arc, what determines that is that a character starts off one way and they end the movie in a different
Yes.
state of being. This is more about Jane in terms of that when you think about it, like her sacrifice with Thor
Yes.
for them to the whole thing with eternity, which looks beautiful. It looks like that thing out of Kingdom Hearts with Sora.
Yeah.
And then the Galaxy dude it asks interesting questions. It's like, hey, because this movie sort of poses another question within its own idea, and it's Christian Bale's Gore saying like, hey, these gods, these dudes suck, like none of them. And honestly, he's right. Like everyone presented in this movie is, except for Thor, is incredibly selfish.
Yes.
All the gods that they show, and it's another thing that it did make me wish that Christian Bale got to show him killing these people.
Well,
Like,
I mean, I didn't mind
on
that.
screen.
I didn't mind that. More so, just like showing Christian Bale on screen more. Just because he's such a
Yeah.
great actor, and like anytime you did see him on screen, he was very like menacing, and like his acting really showed. Especially whenever he had all three of them like locked up, not like locked up, but like trapped with those shadows and everything, and he was just
Yeah.
taunting all of them. I really like that. That was my favorite part of like Gore.
I saw this, and a little kid was sitting next to me.
Yes.
And anytime Gore showed up, he was terrified. He was like,
Daniel's like, I love seeing kids.
I thought it was awesome. I was like,
I love
cool.
seeing kids
I'm glad
get
that
scared.
still happens. Yeah.
That kids get scared.
Yeah.
Dude, I think anybody can get scared.
I don't. He did have a scary presence. So I was
He
like,
did,
I
yes.
get it, kid. Yeah.
I get it, kid.
I cry too. Like, no.
Don't worry, man. I also shit my pants.
Yeah. It happens all the time. Me when I see Top Gun again, but because it's awesome.
Yes, dude, Top
Not
Gun is
because
so
it's
good.
scary. I want to watch it again.
I was someone at work. I remember them asking me like, "Hey, is Top Gun actually like really good as people say?" Dude was like, "Yes, it was so
Yup.
unexpected."
It is just unbelievably good.
Yes.
I really like this movie overall.
Hmm.
It's like I said, it's a bit more flawed than usual, and but like I don't know, the stuff that's great is it's there for
Yeah.
sure.
All,
It's just
I think for
you
me,
want more of that.
yeah, I
Yeah.
just wanted more and more of the characters, just like I guess like questioning the characters and like their development and like who they are and what they were doing type of thing, especially
Mm.
the villain. And for me, like even with the humor that was involved, like I wouldn't mind if the like if the jokes actually like worked like a lot, but it just felt like
Yeah.
very and it felt very mindless. I was like, oh, like okay, like like I don't know, like it worked. Some of them worked for me, and then some of them really didn't.
Yeah. Some of them are just like
Yeah.
they fall flat.
Yes.
But then there are I'm not gonna deny that there are some scenes that are hilarious. Like it's just this one went more for the joke a minute thing,
Oh yeah.
but that's a weird thing to do whenever some of the stuff with Christian Bale is like so serious.
Hmm.
I don't know. There's just an insane amount of tonal whiplash in this movie.
Yes.
But like, I would watch it again. I do want to see it again. I want to like, I'll buy Blu-ray, of course. I all that.
Same.
What would I give this? I give this a 4 out of 5. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
I give it a 3.5 out of 5.
Okay.
Spoiler
What would you
alert:
say?
it's the same as Minions: Rise of Gru.
Would you say this is next episode? Or
Oh, sorry.
would you? Would you say that this is like one of the lesser ones for you?
Yes, I felt like this was kind of like it's weird. It feels like a Phase 1
Yeah.
for me, like a Phase 1 movie. But like, which I mean, I still don't mind because I still like all the Phase 1 movies regardless. It's just it felt like just like I guess it's like one of those roller coaster things where the previous Marvel movies, it just felt like there were such a it was such a high, and so for this one just
Mhm.
to dip down a little bit, but like it still didn't feel like as up there with it, you know?
It's weird whenever you're like, wow, finding your footing again.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't mind. Like I
Yeah.
said, the more and more they give directors creative freedom, the more this is gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, like Doctor Strange and Thor: Love and Thunder, I think that they are distinct.
Yes.
They are not like each other. It's just that. Well, I think I said that I probably liked Doctor Strange more than this.
Yeah, I love Doctor Strange more than Love and
Yeah.
Thunder.
But I still liked both. So, at the least, I really liked this one, and I love Doctor Strange. So, thank you guys so much for listening. If you could you review us on Spotify and Apple Podcast?
No.
It helps us out, boosts our platform, and thank you so much for listening, by the way. The more and more we do this, the more I'm surprised by the people that tune in, and it's awesome. It really is. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. You can find us at Film Between on Twitter and at Somewhere Between Film on Instagram. We will have another episode for you this week, which will be very cool. We've been doing a couple every once in a while just because we have been trying to schedule it that way. We'll see you next time.
Next time.